YouTube? What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube read, another energy collective read. I hope this finds you guys at a clarifying time of your day. Remember to take what resonates and please leave the rest behind. I'm just kind of getting ahead of myself because I took a massive break. I never took this much of a break from YouTube ever since I started. It's almost been a year now. Next month it'll be a year, but it's a blessing that a lot of you guys are aligned with me and a lot of you guys find alignment with me and purpose through, the messages that I convey. And I just want to take some time to say I thank you and I appreciate you. Appreciate all your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. But without further ado, remember to use your discernment, leave the rest behind. Let's go and get started. Ancestors, angels of the highest white light, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages for what my collective needs to hear today. Thank you and Ashe. So off the jump, there's something about, I want to get into this main general message about God's final word, right? Now, a lot of you guys have, gone through tribulations of suffering, massive sufferings, massive tribulations of, going up 5 steps, you go back down 6, you know what I mean? And then you got to go back up 4, and then you go back down, you may go back down 2. You know what I mean? You may have had a conflicting tribulation in this lifetime in terms of it's the world's, acceptance of your energy within it, right? A lot of you guys systematically have gone through a lot of systematic things and you've understood systematic trajectories because of what your energy reflected back to it. In other words, a lot of you guys have dealt with a lot of different things that you couldn't explain why, you didn't understand why. A lot of you guys had to go through a lot of different situations, maybe with people socially, maybe physically, maybe financially, maybe you're grown, maybe you're born into certain circumstances that you didn't understand. Maybe you were totally different than the environment around you. Certain things like this, can create templates for a certain sense of suffering or loneliness in a lot of you. A lot of you guys may have understood that inkling of being outcasted at one point in your life, maybe on a general sense of your life. A lot of you guys may have dealt with past mistakes, past horrible traumas, maybe of other people that have been projected of you, maybe of yourself that's been projected. A lot of you guys have gone through tribulations that you may not have understood what the deeper esoteric meaning and significance was behind. But I want to talk about God's final word in this message. There's something about understanding the path and understanding the journey and understanding the wrongs and rights and how they co-align to the same things. And when I say that, I'm saying that in choices. Choices have effects, right? Cause and effects. And there's something about domino effects that come into play that sometimes we don't understand, right? Sometimes we can put ourselves or feel like we are put in certain situations that we don't have good luck or we don't have any chance in, right? A lot of us have been put in circumstances where we've gotten kicked down, beat down, psychologically, physically, other directions, other discretions. But what I'm saying is a lot of times we don't understand what meaning that this pain has for us. And so I want to kind of get onto that, right? And there's something significant about God's final word, almost like the tortoise and the hare, right? It's almost like if we're metaphorically speaking, right, that hare was always beating that tortoise in the race, right? Always racing to the finish line. But there's something about that tortoise along the way still finding his way to get to the finish line first. Because of the hare's cockiness, because of the hare's sense of recognition that it was so much faster than the tortoise, right? I want to use that connotation in this reading for a reason. And a lot of you guys have gone through a lot of things that you felt like you were set back. You felt like you were put back. It may have felt like you were pushed backwards in certain ways. A lot of you guys may have taken to those backward connotations, like let's say negative experiences were happening to you, and you internalize those things, right? There's something about significance of how that can turn around in your favor, how that can turn into purpose, how that can turn into your power. A lot of you guys are my alchemists. A lot of you guys are my magicians. And when I say that magicians, it's understanding the energy velocities of how energy works on this planet and how it's always ever so shifting. And so with that, I want to use that and bring it back, right? A lot of you guys have gone through pain and strife and suffering that makes you a lot more capable of handling these loads and these burdens better than other people. You may see another person, you may compare yourself to them. You may compare somebody that feels lighter to you. You may compare yourself to somebody that feels like they have it better in some way, whatever that's financially, physically, at peace, whatever that is. But you're not really understanding the mirror exchange of what you're carrying within yourself. A lot of you guys can carry these things for a lot of time, for a long time, without using it and utilizing it for purpose. And so what that repression does, it creates a density, and that density can create a sense of self that harbors off of that experience or that collection of experiences. What I'm saying is, when we're not using and utilizing that energy, it's going to weigh us down, and so it's going to keep us stuck. And when that happens is, you kind of create a sense of identity around that density. And so that's the important thing, to utilize it for the opposite. Yeah, a lot of you guys are my alchemists. You understand exactly how to utilize energy. A lot of you guys are my writers. A lot of you guys are writing your stories. A lot of you guys are using your testimonies to help others. A lot of you guys are using it for perspective shifts on the world and how you go at the world. What I'm saying in this message is, there's something about God's final word, and how God can use those same uglinesses that we may perceive, those same harshnesses that we may perceive. I don't know if that's a word, but the same harboring pains, and he can use that and utilize that for his own testimony through you. And a lot of you guys resonate with that, being used as a vessel for the Most High. And a lot of times it's not sweet. A lot of times it ain't sugar. You know, a lot of times it's salty at first, you know what I mean? A lot of times it can be dense at first. A lot of times it's heavy. It's a load, right? And those loads, what that is, it's energy. It's currency. And I want you guys to have a shift of energy, or a shift of perception on certain densities that you may have. And the reasonings why they fall on you, the reasonings why certain things seem like they fall on you, reasonings why you had to carry certain things that maybe older people around you didn't, or maybe people around you your age didn't. There's a reason that you do. There's a reason that you have it. And so when I want to bring that process and that alchemy back into play and back into this message, a lot of you guys can carry it because you know what to do with it. Your soul knows what to do with it. It's about your sense of capability, your sense of worth, and sense of analyzing what it is that you really can do with it and how to actually practicalize it. A lot of you guys have painful testimonies that really you could save somebody's life if you told them your story. Whether that's openly conveying it or being open with your open with your transparency with somebody that you come across, right? A lot of you guys are here for a reason, to show a way for somebody differently than maybe that they're accustomed to. A lot of you guys can shift these energies into so many different opportunities that you may not foresee. You may not understand on how to put it in perspective. A lot of you guys don't even ask. A lot of you guys may not have that sense of realization of how much you can do on this realm. And I've been having this concurrently revealed back to me over and over and over. And what I want to say with this message is, a lot of you guys are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. A lot of you guys are more talented, a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. And there's something about these understandings and the psychological acceptance of maybe the pain, the suffering. Maybe that acceptance from that point is how you utilize it and shift it, right? A lot of you guys, sometimes we deal with certain things that recline back into our lives. When I say recline back to our lives, it almost seems like it recycles. And a lot of you guys go through the same kind of etymologies of like esoteric meanings in your life. You may see the same message from a different environment, different person, different group. But that same message may be reminding you of something. It may be reminding you where you're limiting yourself. It may be reminding you where you're not acknowledging yourself, acknowledging your worth, your sense of respect, your sense of power. A lot of times we don't have a accurate depiction of that because of what society or what experiences have shown us. And so sometimes it's about really focusing and honing in on that expression of that pain, the expression of that power, the expression, when I say that power, it's within that dense energy that we connotate as tribulation, we connotate as suffering, we connotate as stuckness, we connotate as something we don't want to go back to. But maybe there's a part of that experience that our soul needs to get back. And when I say get back, there's fragments that can happen when we're traumatized, when we're suffering. We can have our energy all over the place. What if the point is to unify all that energy into a more purposeful resolve? And so when I'm speaking to these things, it sounds easier said than done. But on an energy level, a lot of you guys are tapped in. A lot of you guys are spiritually gifted. A lot of you guys are not even a lot of you guys don't get enough acknowledgement or validation for what it is that you can do through energy. A lot of you guys have these tough battles with God, or these tough battles with life, because of what you can do through it. And so that's what I want to say with God's final word. God's final word never goes void, never is void, never runs void. There's something about the expectation and the understanding of faith. And when I say faith, not the belief of a magic, genie, but the faith of the Most High, the faith of a higher power bringing me and building me along the way to who I need to be and where I need to be to do what I need to do. And that's kind of the perspective, right? And so for a lot of you guys, you've gone through, certain mistakes or certain things or certain habitual cycles in your life that you would like to break. And sometimes, the breaking to that cycle is simply a simple submission and surrender to a higher power. And when I say that, a lot of you guys, your connectivity to that higher power has strengthened through these tribulations that I speak of, has strengthened through the sufferings. Because sometimes you have to rely on something else. Sometimes you have to simply give off and release what it is that you don't understand for something that does have the understanding. Sometimes we'll never understand certain things, and sometimes we're not meant to. And that's a message for somebody. In terms of the acceptance of God's final word, sometimes you got to surrender to, hey, I may not understand this. I may not know it. I may not know the answer. My intuition may not be leading me to the answer. Hey, this person may not be leading me to the answer. I may have to see a different detour. I may have to see a crossroad. I may have to accept the crossroads and see a higher power. I may have to move into that unknown. I may have to move into that uncomfortability. So God can put me in the slot to use my uncomfortabilities, my pain, my suffering, my tribulations in the way that He needs to. That's the part of surrendering. And that's what I was rendering with submission. That's what I was talking about, submission to a higher power. And so a lot of changes are happening in this world that are having a lot of us reflect on our own values, our values of what our soul is desiring to experience in this life. And a lot of you guys understand that you've either been lied to, or certain things didn't have to be a certain way, or certain things, a lot of you guys have gone through occult abuse, a lot of you guys have gone through occult principalities and politics and things like that, in terms of why you understand certain things you understand. But what I'm saying with this message is, there's something about the detours that God brings you through that suffering, through the tribulations, through maybe the strippings of things that no longer serve you, that you may not see in the moment. But it's about the acceptance and the rendering of what is to come from that surrendering, and through that slot that you open up for God to make His work through. When you take one step, He takes 10. There's something about the understanding of that first step. And that first step can come from acceptance. That first step can come from conviction. That first step can say, hey, that perceptual shift of my situation, my pain, my testimony, and my struggles, or what God is going to use as my testimony through these things, that's where the shift is. That's where that first step is. And that's when God can take 10 more after you. That's my last message. A lot of you guys need a reaffirmation on the path that you're moving forward, because I needed one myself in these last few weeks. And so I'm just getting back over here to kind of reaffirm some messages back to you guys. And I feel like that's an important one, to know that God has the final say, the final word over everything. He's the Most High Creator of all things. And there's something about a systematic understanding of what's going to break down before us on a systematic level to reveal what God has for all of us in a certain way. And that's my last one. If you need a person with me, hit up Shamika Son with a C and Shamika@gmail.com. It's starting to rain. My AirPod's starting to die, so I'm going to try to get this upload out. But I've got a few partnerships, 20% off of each, with Amazon Web Services, Rose Forever New York, and Outer Spirit, if you're interested in any vibration-enhancing jewelry, or any rose flower decor, or any type of programming, web services with Amazon. Other than that, it's your boy Justice. I'm sending so much love and Ashe 1414. I ended my last video at 1414. But I just appreciate all your love and support. I've been seeing your sweet messages, but I haven't been reading as many recently. But I'll probably go, once I upload this video, probably go and read some messages. But either way, it's good getting back on the platform. But I'm sending so much love and Ashe. Peace out, y'all.